time for Book of Experts TV.
Topics you love.
Experts you trust.
Friction-free referrals.
Tried,
tested,
Trusted.
This is Book of Experts, brought to you by salesman.me.
This is Book of Experts TV, and I'm your host, Tobin Slavin, and we're back today to talk about getting visibility for your business, for your expert-based business. When you've got something to say, something to share, and an impact to make in that world, how do you get that out in front of more people? Today's guest expert is an expert in that space of major publications, getting visibility, using PR, getting your name, your brand, your word out there in front of more people so you can make that greater impact. And in some cases, you're going to be adding to your income as well. So I want to bring on now our guest, Mark Stephen Pooler. Welcome, joining us all the way from the UK. So we're crossing the Atlantic with our conversation today, but we're really talking about changing the world and helping. Some of these experts are best kept secrets, Mark. How can you help them and share some ideas about how they can get their message out in front of more people?
Hey, Tobin, thank you so much for inviting me on to Book of Experts. It's a real privilege, and I'm really looking forward to sharing some value with your audience today. And I started my business with no profile, Tobin, and I made lots of mistakes along the way. So I will share some golden nuggets with everyone today of how to get seen, noticed, and heard with worldwide digital media to become known globally.
I think that point of we all make mistakes, and it's, are we learning from those mistakes, and are we taking those learnings and stacking them in a way that we improve and take our game to a higher level so that we don't continue to make the same mistakes. But I'm just curious, Mark, before we get into the who, how, what, the meat of the work that you're doing now, what were you doing before you got into this space of working with PR and major publications, sort of helping people get their message out to the millions?
So for the last 2.5 years, I have completely focused on my PR business, and it's been a great success ever since day one of starting my very first radio show. A couple of years prior to that, I was a public speaking coach and used to do lots of public speaking coaching, group coaching, and one-to-one coaching. And I'm also a #1 best-selling author of my book, Step Into Your Brilliance, as well. But backtrack 6 years ago, Tobin, I wasn't doing anything in the social media entrepreneurship space. I was a freelance hairstylist, and I retired from hairdressing around 2 years ago now.
Oh, interesting. So I didn't know about that aspect. I also know that in this PR space, you've worked with some really interesting clients, including folks in the sort of the secret, energetic, sort of spiritual space. Can you talk a little bit about that background and how that came to be? Because I think that's a really interesting hook for some of our folks. This isn't going to apply to everyone in our community, but some of you are going to recognize these names and say, yes, these are my people. Mark, tell me what you've been doing with those folks.
Firstly, I was a huge fan of The Secret movie and The Secret book when it very first come out, Tobin, and I used to watch the movie over and over again, and I really believe in the law of attraction as well. So I manifested to work with such great names. It all started by collaborating on book projects that the stars of the movie were part of, like collaboration books. So I was introduced to Dr. John D. Martini, Marie Diamond, Dr. Joe Vitale, Dennis Waitley, so many incredible stars of the movie, and I may be missing some names out. and I interviewed them on my radio show. I've gone on to interview them on my television show. I've gone on to publish many different articles and press releases. I'm a big fan of Dr. John D. Martini, Dr. Joe Vitale, Marie Diamond, Dennis Waitley, also Bob Proctor. I have published articles for as well. Bob Doyle, who is another star of the movie. And recently I did an article for Rhonda Byrne. So I really do feel blessed because she is the main mind behind The Secret movie. And I did an article all about her up and coming book, The Greatest Secret, which is a new book that she has just launched as well. So I feel really blessed. I recently did an interview with Mark Victor Hansen and Crystal Dwyer Hansen as well, who are the minds behind the Chicken Soup for the Soul series that sold billions of copies worldwide, and also Jack Canfield. I've done media coverage for Jack Canfield with book projects that he's a part of as well.
So one of the things that I've heard, Mark, is that I think is unique with you in your approach is, yes, you're helping with the PR, getting the word out there, getting into major publications, and you are also leveraging your own channels. So can you talk about that a little bit with MSP News and Global, sort of why you do that and what the strategy is when you're working with clients to help them get the biggest impact that they can make?
So I launched my own publishing platform, which is a digital media site where we do worldwide press release through the site, but it's also a premium positioning platform because the articles that I publish have some real big names in the personal development world and also the celebrity space as well. So MSPnewsglobal.com was launched around a year and a half maybe ago, and it's been really successful. When I am publishing articles to MSP News Global, because of running press release through the site on a worldwide scale, and also I do a lot of ad campaigns to the site, it gives my clients really big reach when they have articles published to MSP News Global. So I am up to a potential reach of around 200,000 reach on my own publishing platform alone because of the ad campaigns and the press release that go through the site as well. But it also gives my clients premium positioning, putting them next to some of the biggest names, because we all know to build credibility and authority, it's all about premium positioning and brand association and celebrity endorsement. So I will put my clients next to really big names to lift their credibility and authority, which allows them to build trust. It gives them brand association, celebrity endorsement, allowing them to really build trust with their target audience, which allows them to then go on to attract clients as well.
So, Mark, when you have a new client that comes on board and they're essentially starting from scratch, they do not have the name recognition, maybe they're entering a new industry or even new in the field, but they don't have that cachet to rely upon. What are you doing first? What is your approach and sort of thought process as you plan out the strategy to take them from their starting point to, you've already shared that getting their name closely associated with other luminaries in the industry would be one strategy, but what are you doing from day one to sort of plan this journey?
Firstly, there are a few things that I need in place from the client to be able to work with them. I do need them to have a short and long biography, a bio. I do need professional photos. It's so important that the client does have professional photos to work with, and a website. But don't let that scare you guys who are watching. Your website doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you have a basic website that looks professional, or a landing page, or some kind of link tree that has your details, so that I can do the best coverage for you. So what I do need clients to have is the long, short bio, a basic functioning website, and a professional photo shoot. Like I mentioned earlier, I had no profile myself a few years ago. I have learned all the hard way and made a lot of mistakes. I have built my own global profile from scratch. So the great thing when clients come to work with me and they have no profile, I can help them to build their profile really, really quickly and effectively without making any mistakes like I made. So I will do things like get them featured on various global publications, what are really going to be great for where their target market will find them. So I will do written credibility articles. I also do things like putting them on the front cover of MSP News Global. That's more of a credibility piece for social proof, and they are really, really effective. Putting you on the cover of MSP News Global is a great marketing piece. Also, what I do for my clients, I heavily give them a really strong Google footprint, because whenever anyone is looking to give you a speaking opportunity, a job opportunity, any kind of joint venture or collaboration, they are going to look you up on Google. So I flood Google with positive media. So whether that's articles or press releases, I will get them heavily featured on page 1 of Google, Google News, and YouTube as well. So great if they don't have a YouTube presence. So I do that with written credibility articles, but also my press releases are really, really unique. I give them big exposure, because my press releases, which is a professional written article, it goes to premium news, Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS affiliate sites. It goes to financial feeds, industry news sites, newspapers. But what makes my press release really unique, it also gets published to independent news platforms as well, giving even more visibility to the clients. But it also gives my clients the opportunity to take advantage of, as seen on Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS logos that the client can then use on their marketing, branding and website. Again, lifting the client's authority, credibility, building trust, which allows the client to then go on to attract clients as well. I also do expert positioned radio interviews, Tobin, and also web TV. I have a web TV show as well, and we do some great PR campaigns around the interviews as well. Again, allowing the client to really, really get big exposure and build their profiles really, really quickly.
Mark, if I'm following correctly, it seems like part of the strategy is to build a foundation to aggregate these different press channels. So I'm going to, I'm not sure I'm using the right terminology, but for these different channels, you've talked about press releases, you've talked about, radio, TV, the cover of the magazine, but in all these different destinations for the different types of media as well, that you're aggregating that together in brick by brick, building this sort of foundation that's going to raise the platform for the clients. Am I reading the strategy? Am I reading you correctly about how you're trying to build this?
Correct, yes. So it floods their own internet. So they're sharing the articles, they're sharing their interviews, they share screenshots of the press release. So this is really flooding their social media with third-party credibility, which is more effective than advertising. PR is known to be more effective than advertising and more effective than self-promotion. It's a third party singing your praises for you. So it gives the client marketing tools that they can use on social media. They can add it to their website. They can share it with their email list. Our agency do a big social media campaign for them, promoting it on their behalf as well. And it also gives the client exposure on all the platforms that they are published to, whether that's premium publications, media news outlets, MSP News Global.com that has big reach. It really opens them up to that network as well, and it then floods Google, giving them a big digital footprint. But the main thing is it gives them great marketing tools that they can reshare many times. It's not like a Facebook ad that once the Facebook ad stops, everything disappears. The media and digital PR that I do for my clients is permanent. So it's lasting, either months, years down the line. It will still be found on the Google index, and the tools can still be elevated many months down the line as well.
Mark, do you see, is there a point of a tipping point in this strategy of media outreach where you see, I'm going to use a kind of weird metaphor on this one, but we know that at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees centigrade, ice and water will start to make that transition, depending on whether you're going north or south on the temperature scale, right? You can turn ice into water and vice versa. That's a magic number where we start to see that kind of change of state. Do you have a feel that there is a similar point in the media process where if you go out and get 5 interviews, it's going to help? You may see people in the audience, but when you reach a certain threshold of media, it starts to turn the whole game into a whole different level. Or is that just too simplified for this industry?
So media and PR should be a part of your marketing wheel. If you see my social media, my digital footprint, I am in interviews monthly. I'm in articles monthly. But a good starting point is just even getting a couple of pieces, whether that's an interview and an article and a press release. That's a great starting point. But then every 60 to 90 days, making sure that you're adding to it on an ongoing basis. So it's always about the client's wants, needs, and how quick they want to do it. If they want to go with a premium package, they will be literally everywhere over a 3-month period of working with me. They will be plastered literally everywhere will be flooded, and then every 60 to 90 days they would do like a retainer to be getting more coverage. But you don't have to go in all guns blazing if you don't want to. You can start small and just take little steps every month or every 60 days, doing a little bit more, but it should be done regularly. It's not just a one-trick pony that you do once. It's an ongoing journey, and you should be showing up in media and in digital media on an ongoing basis, so that you're always fresh on Google and you are always being seen on third-party platforms to really keep your profile high.
Yeah, so it sounds like the consistency, it's more of a consistency than a threshold. Mark, the last question I wanted to ask, what are the sort of pitfalls or the mistakes that you see entrepreneurs, businesses, business owners making that could easily be prevented? What should they be watching out for if this is a new space for them? Knowing what you know now in the lay of the land in this PR media landscape, what are the big pitfalls that they can dodge and avoid?
So I would say, especially in digital media, a lot of clients are scared of the coverage. Oh, I'm scared, my website is not quite ready. If you wait for perfection, you will never get anything done. So just start with little steps if you are a bit afraid of appearing in media. So maybe just start with an article rather than a radio interview where you have to show up in person, because then you can hide behind the screen a little bit just by having the article published about you, and just take little steps. Another mistake that I do see, people may concentrate on Facebook ads, but they don't do the PR side of the business. Make sure you are doing the wheel of marketing correctly and using PR and media as one of the steps in the marketing wheel, because it's really, really effective. And we live in a digital world. It's got even stronger over the last year. Everyone is online, and it's really important that you are online, because it's not going anywhere, Tobin. Digital media is around to stay. So it's really important you are seen, noticed and heard. So don't cancel out media and PR, because it's known to be more effective than advertising, because it's a third party singing your praises for you. Self-promotion is really important, but again, when you have a third party singing your praises for you, it's a lot more effective than just doing it all by yourself, and you can do it really, really quickly. And also, Tobin, one extra thing I didn't mention, what I do for authors. I help authors get to bestseller status on Amazon as well. So if clients want to get their book as a bestseller and be known as a best-selling author, that's something I can help authors with as well.
So for folks that are tracking this conversation, Mark talked about the wheel of marketing. So that would be your paid. A lot of people think of, the paid platforms. Google, Facebook would be an example. There are three of these, by the way. I'm making hand gestures that you guys can't see. So you've got paid, you've got earned, and you've got owned. The earned media has been the focus of today's conversation. That is where you're getting these media opportunities. You're earning your spot to be profiled by these third-party media platforms. And as Mark has explained, there's a lot of value in that, because you're not bragging about yourself, they're bragging about you, which creates a different dynamic. And then the third one, just for folks who are keeping score at home, the owned media is when you start to transfer some of that engagement and interest into channels that you can own yourself, your audience, your email list, for example, that you're building. How are you converting? And one of my clients last year said, how do you build a pen around your hens, right? So you don't have to chase your chickens around. If you want to collect the eggs, put them in a pen and they're in one place. You can go collect the eggs that much easier. So Mark, this has been great. How can folks out there reach you, enter your world? If they'd like to learn a little bit more, what are the best channels for them to use?
Thank you. And you said that beautifully about the marketing wheel, and it also allows the clients to attract opportunities as well, and to increase their income over a period of time as well, Tobin. I offer a free PR consultation. All that I ask is you are a person that is ready to invest into your business, because I'm very busy with consultations and PR strategy calls. As long as you have professional photos, a short, a long bio, and a basic website, and you're ready to move forwards with PR and media coverage, you can book a free PR consultation at www.contactmark.me. That's www.contactmark.me. And also, if you would like to follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of my social media handles on www.contactmark.me. That's contactmark.me. Schedule a Zoom get together and we'll have a coffee over Zoom, and I'll share how I can help you to get seen, noticed, and heard.
Got it. So we've got that URL in the comments for folks so they can see it there as well, Mark. Appreciate you taking the time to walk us through the landscape, not only of PR, earned media, but also what you're doing with MSP News Global. Mark, this has been great. Appreciate you coming on with bookofexperts.tv.
Thank you for inviting me, Tobin. I've really enjoyed it.